There was really no introduction about Rawle Toney. He lives and breathes and sleeps and eats sports. And we're really happy to have him as our brand ambassador for Let's Bet Sports.
I am your host, JL Adams, and on this episode of Intoxicated, the Sip and Chat show, Guyanese sports journalist Rawle Toney opens up about his early days as a sports journalist, his concern as a father, and his role as the Let's Bet Sports ambassador.
The good thing is with Let's Bet is that we offer you games, matches actually. For example, Guyana will play Belize on March 23rd right here in Guyana. And you could actually
can bet on that. These topics and more as we sit, sip and chat with the man himself, Rawle Toney, here on Intoxicated, the Sip and Chat show.
I am Rawle Toney, and you're in tune to Intoxicated. And remember, drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive.
Come on, we gotta do this, Come on, about the last ball on this.
Let's Bet Sports. Take your game to a whole new level. You decide. Your game, your bet type, your bet amount. Guyana Lottery Companies, Let's Bet Sports. Be part of the game.
Welcome, Rawle Toney, welcome.
Yeah, man.
What's up?
Very excited to be here. The most popping show on YouTube and social media.
Thanks.
Great initiative, though. Let me congratulate you and whoever, the other people working behind it, coming up with it, though.
Big German Murray.
Yeah.
Number
Great
one production person in the country.
So they done big already.
It's traditional for us to take a shot at the beginning of the.
First, I go with the stock beer.
I start with no.
You gotta take a shot.
A shot as in a
All
shot.
Right. Let me first of all say before we go on, I'm not a drinker, right? But as you said, we on Intoxicated show.
And if you don't drink, you can die from thirst.
I came prepared for.
And we want, which one you want? We got some wine here, we have the brown rum, and we have some vodka. We also have some extra
wine.
Some wine? We'll start with the wine then.
Yeah.
You could open your stag in the meanwhile, you know.
Yeah. This is, like I said, stag is more before a drink.
Yeah, stag is one of my favorite drinks also.
My favorite beer to drink, actually.
Yeah.
What kind of wine is it?
This is a local wine, of course, and we ain't gonna call any name. It's just a local wine. You know.
They gotta pay for advertising.
Definitely. Cheers, man.
Yeah. I think I know this wine.
You know the wine.
I think I know the wine.
So for the people who may be looking at this interview and wondering who is Rawle Toney, you wanna sell yourself in a few.
Rawle Toney, very short, controversial sports journalist, proud father, and just a sports enthusiast as well.
Okay, so where did Rawle Toney grow up?
Linden, the best place in the country. I swear. Linden, the best place in the country. Amelia's Ward, born, migrated just after primary school. Went to school in the US, moved to Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Didn't really take the best advice growing up. Went to the US and get wild and whatever the case may be. But one of the best things my father ever did was send me back to Guyana to humble out.
Okay. You didn't come back.
I came back by force.
By force.
And then afterwards you realize, this was really a life-changing moment.
Mm-hmm.
Went back, came back, finished school and everything. And then got into the media.
Okay.
Started working at NCN. And the funniest of way, though, because I was one of the persons always, every time we go to play basketball, which happens to be my favorite sport, I'm always giving commentary on the sideline. I was talking the most about somebody. And I was in London one day, and a friend of mine said, Darryl McLennan said he wants somebody to do a sports show with and so forth. So we just basically, you know what, I feel you good fit. I went in and I got a job, and that's how everything else started.
How the journey began.
Yeah, with the support of Linden community.
Do you have any siblings? Did you grow up with any siblings at all?
Yeah, I am the eldest. I'm the only.
I mean to cut you, but you can chat and drink.
No talking.
Relax, man.
I'm an only child from my mother, and the eldest of my father, eldest of 5.
Okay.
for my father. So I have a younger brother and 3 sisters. So that's basically it. We all look alike, but we have different mothers. You know how it's going.
So tell us a little bit about, your parents' role.
My parents' role. Should be
you
told,
becoming...
I grew with my grandparents.
Your grandparents?
Yeah, I grew with my grandparents, and before I migrated, I grew with my grandparents.
Okay.
And it was love, but yet still, like I said, I feel I got licks for me and all my children to come. So it was tough love, but like I said, as you get older, you grow to appreciate the amount of licks and the reason why they were very stern. And I also grew up in a time whereby you couldn't do nothing on the road and let your neighbors see or anybody old in the community see. It was licks.
And it's crazy because I be telling people that, I grew up getting tons and tons and tons of lashes. Everything I did, I get licks up on me board. I get licks on Christmas Day.
I used to get quiet in the house and you used to hear, what you doing so quiet? Come here, you're thinking for do somewhat listening.
Blacks.
You understand? Hold this couple lash and go cool.
Look how you would have turned out. Look how I came out. And the kids today ain't getting no lashes,
I don't even beat my child.
It's like, come on.
I mean, you don't really do nothing to get licks, but we find alternative ways of punishment, like you're going to take away your phone or your iPad, or take away your TV, or you
take away your iPad.
Or I like
in your days was go kneel on the wall.
Or take away your guitar and break it up. Them kind of threats we are threatening them children now. But they won't really appreciate. But interestingly though, like I said, I grew up with my grandparents.
Yeah.
When I migrated, my father at the time really didn't know how to be. I mean, his way of showing love is I give you everything that you want.
Okay.
And there's it. But you know that he cares, and you understand, but he really didn't know how to.
So what are some of your favorite memories from growing up from going to school in Bed-Stuy or from living in Bed-Stuy?
My favorite memories of course the women.
The
women.
The variety.
And it was, adjusting to culture shock. Like my friends today still trouble me when we started junior high school and stuff, and they used to trouble you to say you're fresh off the boat, banana boat, and they used to want fight and everything. Other than that though, it's just really enjoying a community where everyone fighting for survival and fighting for a way out. And also I grew up in a home, and most of my friends, or all my friends grew up in the projects, and they used to look at you as if you were privileged. You understand? So living up to that expectation as well, and moving to another country and not want to disappoint the people that had high hopes for you when you move off. Of course, just like anywhere else, Guyana, you got to America, hope you do well.
What would you say are some of the difference and also the similarities between the American culture and the Guyanese culture? Because you would have experienced
similarities.
Both of them.
Well, truth be told, though, it depends on where you live.
That's a fact.
Most of us, you live in
geographic. We go to Brooklyn. Yeah. In Queens.
Which is influenced a lot by West Indian culture. And one thing people need to understand is that West Indian people, GT people, try to maintain that GT culture within the home. They try to cook with everything that they could find from Guyana to get the same taste, to stay as close as home as possible. So you don't really miss anything much, except the fact that, in GT I probably would have gotten the real thing, freshly picked, and now I got to settle for something that have some preservatives and so forth in it. But for me, to this part, I always look at sports. Okay. I tell people I don't accept less. I refuse to accept less where sports is concerned in this country, because I understand I've seen people done more with less outside of this country. And I believe that we have the potential there, just giving them the opportunity. If I take, for example, if you have, you will find some athlete might leave to go on a scholarship overseas, and immediately they make an impact.
Yeah.
Just because they're exposed to different facilities, higher level of training and so forth. So
proper infrastructure.
Exactly. They have a youngster from Linden, went off to an NCAA Division I school on a full scholarship. And as you would know, a lot of people in America don't get a full scholarship. So she got a full scholarship. And
coming from Guyana.
Exactly, coming from Linden. And also coming from an area perceived as the ghetto in Linden too, right?
Yeah.
And in her fourth season, she would have done her personal best, something that she took years to accomplish. She did it within a couple of weeks in school. So it's so much so just exposing persons to betterment.
So I think it's time for us to take our next shot. You have had the rum punch before?
Never.
The rum punch is dope.
I really don't drink.
You don't drink. The rum punch is a creeper.
There's no thing I'm gonna walk. I have to take.
You know, right? Now we just drink responsibly.
Yeah. Rum punch.
One second.
It's rum punch from DDL.
I don't even know if it's from DDL or if some banks or ants. I don't know where it's from.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you something, people.
Proper.
The man tried to block me out on this show,
No, but what do you think about that?
What though?
For a local.
You know, the funny thing is, people just tell me, yo, you don't drink no liquor at all. Like, I mean, not that I don't drink, period.
Okay.
But I just prefer to drink.
Okay.
And I have some horror stories as to why I don't drink.
That's the reason I don't drink, bro. I got some real horror stories.
The first time ever I got drunk, right, was the same thing right here. This
Grenade.
This big man right here. The little one too.
The little one.
What? And the experience wasn't nice.
Okay. You did mention earlier that you were a big basketball fan.
Yeah.
When did you first fell in love with basketball?
First of all, I grew up in a home where everyone loved basketball.
New York Knicks?
Grandmother
that was rooting for the New York Knicks?
No, I started rooting for the Knicks when I moved to New York, or just before though. Because my uncles were big on Patrick Ewing and so forth. So migrating, I ended up my stepmother, who's the nicest woman I've ever met actually. She was a huge New York Knicks fan, as in would sit down and cry if the Knicks lose. New York Knicks fan.
Jeez.
And with that, we would attend most games because, I mean, she used to get free tickets and stuff. We would attend games. Sometimes we used to get away from school and go to games or forget I got to pick up my little sisters and slip into the garden. Depends if they get a game in the afternoons and so. Of course, back then the schedules were kind of different than now. A lot of afternoon games you had. So growing up, everyone was a Knicks fan, so I stuck with the Knicks. Of course, my favorite player is Carmelo Anthony. Never mind the Rock. Never mind the Rockets. So this is the thing.
That's how I actually heard he's going there.
No, he was at the Rockets, but then they waived him the other day. So now he is looking for a team. Hopefully, he end up with the Lakers or something. Hopefully. Yeah, so basketball is my thing, but I love football too. Never really big on getting to play it as much as I would love it. But becoming a journalist really gave me the appreciation of all sports. Really, I tell people, and people say, oh, you don't make sports in this country. It's like, I mean, I make a living from sports.
So what did you play while you was growing up?
Basketball, I played on the national team as well.
Right here in Guyana?
Junior national.
Any basketball in New York?
Varsity, junior varsity. You see, the thing is, when I told my father, yo, I want to make it to the NBA. Because you remember you left with a dream like, yo, I go in and make it the NBA. From playing on your little half court in Linden and doing well and so forth. And he was like, NBA? All right. So my father sent me to a camp. I was 15. And I was all excited for this camp. Spent a lot of money to send me to this camp and everything. So I wasn't always tall, and they put me with a bunch of 13 and 14-year-olds. And that was a reality check for me because I get cooked by these little boys who are really good. So my father said, I did it to show you that you are miles away or miles behind coming from Guyana, and you should focus on, getting a quality education and actually having a career. And honestly, I really didn't care about no career and education and a whole bunch of nonsense. Well, that time I said, yo, me a time for you nonsense big man. I come here for birds and play ball.
You didn't mention earlier that a lot of people used to tell you that, it makes sense following up sports here in Guyana or even covering and stuff. What is your take on the evolution of the awareness of sports here in Guyana? Because now, people are tuned into the Super Bowl, they're tuned into hockey, they're watching golf. And it's
now, I believe the media, American media, has a lot to play with it because people actually watch a lot of TV. But I tell people we do have a very rich sports culture in this country.
Yeah.
You could pull up anyway. Go to buy soup at the car and persons recognize you from doing anything with sports, or you strike up a conversation with West Indies. You might hear, yo, I remember back in our days, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but it's not even just about cricket anymore. Back in the days, you could have just only talked about cricket.
Because they open up to more sports, as you said. Like, do you know at one time we had a football team in Guyana called the Guyana Gators?
Guyana Gators?
Yeah, we had a team called the Guyana Gators, a rugby team. Well, a football team, but mostly rugby players playing in it, from the TOs to the Claudius Butts and those guys. They were on the team. And Funny enough, though, Barbados had a team on, I think, St. Lucia, and one of the players from Barbados that I can remember coming to Guyana to play against the Guyana Gators ended up making it to the NFL.
The NFL?
Yeah, he was drafted in the NFL like a year or two after. But then that came and died a natural death because, as you know, they didn't have a lot of money to put into it and so forth. But we have a very healthy sport appetite in this country. And it's good that you ask that question, though, because one of my disappointments here is the way in which we used to treat sports like a pastime. I mean, over the past couple of years, it's not a political show, but you know I keep it candid. Over the past couple of years, we would have seen a shift, a genuine shift to treat sports how they should be treated in terms of treating our athletes differently. I played, I can remember the Inter-Guyana Games team traveling to Suriname, heading to French Guiana and so forth, and staying at an army base. I can remember covering Inter-Guyana Games and teams staying at a Bratel in Suriname. Now teams staying at the Marriott and stuff in Suriname. So it's a genuine interest to change him, but we have years to go.
I'm actually happy that you mentioned that. So, as a person who's so active in, the when it comes to bringing awareness to sports, to the Guyanese culture and the Guyanese society, what are some of the things that you would like to see happen within the sporting industry?
More infrastructure. I believe building more infrastructure would allow for more participation in sport. Also,
any sports in particular?
Right. Well, first and foremost, we have to identify the sport that we are really good at and the sport that we are getting international acclaim from. For example, hockey just recently got their AstroTurf, a land to build an AstroTurf.
And also and football,
which is a big boost.
Park. That was major, yo.
We've seen a climb in hockey in terms of people playing hockey, in terms of hockey doing well internationally. But this facility would bring more people to the sport.
Yep.
Track and field. We've won numerous medals at the Crifter Games. We've won a lone gold medal from Linden, and it's disappointing that Linden is now actually having their own synthetic track. Which is good. Which is no. After all these years, now Linden having their own synthetic track.
Overdue.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
So it shows that if you would have placed infrastructure, if you put infrastructure in place in these communities, like Linden that does really well at athletics, Borbies would have been better off with a velodrome than a synthetic track. That's just my opinion. Because Borbies produce really good cyclists. You understand? So athletics in Borbies, football is a big deal within the inner city, or we would call the ghetto. Give them those facilities.
And we're going to have one right there at Durban Park.
Make Durban Park accessible for them. The government, I believe, should have invested more in that. And like I said, more infrastructure. Look, perfect example. The gymnasium recently have built a place for street football to be played. Now when you pass in the afternoon, it's packed in the afternoon. So it means now they find a better avenue to more people to come and play with development. So infrastructural development is major, and then also having qualified people to help our athletes to hone their skills.
When I was growing up, I was a big fan of football, or in the first word we call it soccer. And one of the reasons I never was able to follow it up is because of, I used to look at it as something that I can do as a career. It would always have to be something that I would have to do after I come home from work and stuff. And I was like, that makes no sense. Part-time as an hobby.
Yeah.
So what would you say? What type of advice would you give to the young and upcoming kids who's aspiring to become a footballer or maybe a table tennis player?
First of all, be educated. Because everything right now, in terms of, unless you got skills like Messi, that you born with this talent that could be recognized, you gotta be educated. Because the way in which, exactly, because we live in the Caribbean, and so first and foremost, we would focus on being signed by, let's say, someone in Central America, Canada, or the US. And they really go through a draft system. Very rare.
And that's not the top of the top.
No. They're very rare, for example, that, let's say, Guyana playing in the Nations League and so on, that's coming up, or we qualify for the Gold Cup, or when we qualify for the Gold Cup, teams would look at exceptional talent. Jackie Chan is a perfect example. Yeah. Perfect example. I mean, a little indiscipline here and there, but
just a little.
Yeah, I use him as a perfect example because he came from the ghetto, went to Trinidad, had his opportunity with the Trinidadian club, dismantled at the time, which was the MLS top team in the New England Revolution. Scored a hat-trick against them and home and away. Had like about 5 goals within the 2 legs or something of the sort. And MLS team were literally crawling at his feet because it's like, yo, this is natural talent.
Natural talent.
And, you know, he was signed in MLS by Colorado Rapids. It didn't really work out for him then, but I still hold Jackie Chan as probably the best local player that I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's
in this
definitely
country.
talented.
So I use him as an example. Unless you're that talented, be educated.
Yeah.
Either way, try and still be educated because we got players now stepping out on scholarships. Jeremy Garrett, Cortez Kelman, they went off to college and doing really good for themselves.
So who are some of your favorite local athletes?
Local athletes, Gregory Richardson.
What does he do?
In football, Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan in football. Carly Hercules used to be a favorite of mine when he played. Kaide McKinnon, Charles Pollard, all footballers. Nigel Codrington, who is the country's leading goal scorer. One of my favorite players as well. Like I said, Jackie Chan, my all-time local favorite player. In hockey, I will go with, not favorite hockey player, but squash I'd go with Nicolette Fernandez. Yeah, she's probably one of the best local.
She's like basically the face of hockey.
Yeah, but she's probably one of the best local basketball players that I've seen too.
Basketball?
Yeah, she is beyond gifted in basketball. Yeah, she actually played.
She's like the face of squash here in
but she
Guyana.
played on the national team for basketball already too.
Really?
Yeah. So Nicolette Fernandez, great at squash. That squash. In cricket, I would go with Leon Johnson. Very talented player, really didn't get the recognition he deserved internationally. Everybody would go with Chanjapal, etc., Rani Sarwan. But for me, I like Leon, my age group. And like I said, very talented and dedicated to his craft. And one of the most successful local captains that we have. Brilliant cricket mind as well. Stephen Jacobs there, Barnwell.
As well. You know what's crazy? I used to actually play football with Barnwell. A lot of people don't know that he's talented football player.
Because he played school football already. And then left and go and score a century in cricket and then go and score a couple goals. Then play basketball with South School, I think he went to.
South School he went to.
So,
he was like the goal scorer. Like he used to
score basketball though, my local favorite is Lugard Mohan. Yeah. And Oric Tapin from Linden. I tell people the closest thing to an NBA player that you would see, NBA guard that you would see in terms of movement, skill set. I saw this guy that passed away as well, Fat Wayne Andrews. Saw him as a youngster growing up in Linden, but like I said, I migrated to, and then he would have subsequently left. And those are some of my favorite local players.
All right, so it's time for us to take another shot. Before I get into
this, you get the hat for me.
This getting hot, so you want to take another one? We'll take another shot, and when we come back, we'll talk about you as a parent.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, let's talk sports. Let's bet sports. Yes, Guyana Lottery Company's sports betting brand is now available at a lottery agent near you. It's easy to be part of the game. First, choose your game. Using the bet slip provided, share the event code that corresponds with the match you wish to place a bet on. Now, choose your bet type. In this case, full-time bet. Here are 3 options: home, draw, away. You decide. Shade H if you predict the home team to win, A if your choice is the away team, or D if you predict a draw at full-time. Now, choose how much you want to bet. Starting at just $200, you could bet up to $50,000 per bet slip. Want to play more than one match? No problem. You can play up to 10 events per bet slip for a chance at even greater winnings. Next, place your bet at the agent. Your ticket will always show exactly what you stand to win. Now, you're part of the game. Play and cash out your Let's Bet Sport ticket at any lottery agent countrywide. Remember, you must be 18 and over to play.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did say that you were a father. So when you look around and see what's happening here in Guyana or internationally, whether it's in the political arena or in society in general, what are you mostly concerned about when it comes to being a father?
Honestly, I'm going to keep it very short because I could go off on this one. First and foremost is understanding that we're teaching my son to accept things for what they are. And regardless of his personal belief, just accept and respect person's position and things. Right now, as you know, like I said, I like this show because and
He don't forget my name. The liquor, Jamal.
Jamal and I had a run. And see, don't know how strong I am how strong and for my stand on certain things. Because when I said this, I don't care who you said. This is it.
Yeah. Stand by his word.
I stand by my word. I don't care who you say afterwards. Then. Jamal, the thing is right now, we live in a society whereby things are changing. Whereby
rapidly.
People, it's like right now, I was reading the other day, some laws that passed in the States. In some states in the US, whereby, identifying people by gender, baby by gender.
That's knocked out.
You understand? That done.
Yeah.
So how now would you, how now should I as a parent now tell my son,
my child,
tell my son that, listen, it's okay.
Yeah. Or even if he comes to you.
Like, Dad, what is this? And that's one of my nightmares. And
man.
I can try to take my son as much places as possible. And he would ask questions. Like, very first time when they passed the law in Brooklyn, my son and I, we were in Central Park. And then he was like, Dad, why are two men kissing? And it took me a good 5 minutes to answer the question.
Yeah.
And then I was like, listen, X, Y, and Z, but that's their lifestyle. You got to respect it. And I was probably talking at a 3-year-old at the time. Because he really don't know what it is. Not 3, like 4 or so. He really didn't know what it is. But now though, he's 10, whereby he's exposed to the internet. He's on YouTube. He has a WhatsApp. He has fighting out for Facebook. He got Instagram and everything. So he's more exposed out to stuff, and he does ask questions. And if he was like, Mommy, what is this? I ask your father. So you just shift you over to me. So I can tell people the role of a father is very, very important in children's lives now. I know how it feels to have a father at my side, irrespective of the relationship we might have had growing up because of my own negligence and little ignorance. But I know that my father always played a part or a role in my life. Everything I needed, I got it from my father. I've never short or want of anything. And so I try to impart that in my son, but just keep him a little close. And it's very scary right now raising a child. As a man, as a young man. This technological era. Raising a young boy actually is very, 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 very scary.
So what would that conversation be like if, he comes up to you one day and be like, Dad, I want to follow your footsteps. I want to become a sports journalist. I want to become a brand ambassador. knowing all the challenges you would have faced, would you advise him to take that?
I didn't have a lot of guidance.
Okay.
In most of the stuff that I do, I learn off my own. No, let me retract that. A lot of persons helped me along the way. Okay. A lot. They helped me in their little own way based on the relationship that we might have had. For example, Garden and I, when I first started coming out to Linden, he was like, this is what you got to do, this is to focus on. And if you say some stubbornness, he will try to correct you or in his own little way or whatever. A lot of senior persons within the media fraternity. And like I said, an entire community in Linden. That's why I love Linden to my heart because they go out. If they're watching your show or watch you on TV or read an article and they went to school with you or they used to teach you in school, they would be like, this word is the wrong word to use in this line. Don't use this again like that. Don't say this. This is the wrong thing to say and so forth. And not in a derogatory way, but it would hug and say, man, I like what you're doing and no, but don't do like this. Instead of coming on Facebook, I know you're talking, showing this, blah, 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 blah. And that helped me along the way. But a lot of things I still had to figure out on my own.
So it's time for a final shot.
Final
shot.
This is white rum.
This is white. This is vodka, actually.
I'm going to be the vodka.
You're going to be the vodka. All right, good. Okay, good, that's actually the coconut rum. So
you know what a rum tastes when something tastes good when you look at the bottle.
Yeah. But you actually look at the shot glass. We would like put that in the Ciroc bottle.
Yeah.
And
people can't tell the difference.
No, they can't tell the difference.
But I was telling somebody like, my journey is quite an interesting one because I had no idea to become no journalist.
So I'm happy you mentioned that. Let's talk about some of the previous jobs you would have had.
This is the only thing that I do.
Really? That's why you're so good at it. That's why.
And it's no,
you not know plan B, you not know distraction.
I didn't have no distraction and I really didn't plan my career. I just found it or it found me and I fell in love with it. And
But you do have a radio program. Tell us a little bit about that and what's the objectives.
All right,
behind
so
that?
Gordon reached out to me last year. He reached out to me and was like, yo, I know you're really, really into this sports thing. In fact, let me backtrack. He used to have, came out to radio before. He used to anchor radio news and stuff. But then he used to like, yo, come every Friday on Jumpstart and tell people what's happening in the world of sport. But then I got a little busy with it. And then he pulled me in at NCN and it's like, because he's a director there, and he was like, okay, fine, this is what I need. And I believe that you would have wanted to fit in most fitting person for this.
To do that, yeah.
And that's how my radio program was birthed. And it's the only sports show on primetime radio.
Only
sports
only.
show.
And you guys are doing an
on
awesome
FM.
job.
And I get another stock.
Definitely. Yeah. I like the lag another stock.
and it was the funniest thing is that he would be the one of the person like, yo, what nonsense you're talking? No, this is what you need to do and this is what you need to say. And well, not really need to say, but this is what would more appeal to people.
To people, yeah.
And like I said, is in his own little way in which he put things so for based on relationship you have with him. So Sports Vibes is basically telling you everything that's happening in the world of sport and also giving you a very strong opinion on things. I have a colleague, Tristan Joseph, who I believe is a very astute mind in sports journalism as well, and he has a very bright future ahead of him.
So how did you land this current gig that you have right now? You're currently the brand ambassador for Let's Bet.
So the World Cup. So I did the World Cup shows leading up to the World Cup, coming up from 100 days to the World Cup, and then told people then through Coca-Cola and NCN, which had the rights at the time. We had a show. I produced a World Cup magazine through the Guyana Chronicle, which was a hit.
You're not drinking. You're not drinking.
I'm sorry. Which I did a World Cup magazine. I did a World Cup newspapers actually. I think I underestimated how much of a hit it would have become. Because I had people from St. Lucia and from CARICOM reaching out to say, yo, we don't have this in this Highland or whatever the case may be. So it was really a guide to the World Cup. And from that, one Ian DeBarros reached out to me and said, yo, the Guyana Lottery Company, launching this initiative, and this is what I believe that you could help us in terms of what we want to achieve in the market. And strange enough, he came up with my name from, his boss is like, yo, we need a media person who is really into sports, who's really that to cover every sport. And he was like, yo, I think I know the right person. Mind you, this is somebody I never, ever seen. I've never seen before. We never crossed paths before. He don't know me. I don't know. He don't know nothing about me. I don't know nothing about him. But simply from watching, the World Cup and from feedback, and then he reached out to a couple of people and asked him, yo, who you believe, and then I was like, yo, you got a link, Rawle, or so forth, and that's how I ended up with it. And it's challenging because it's you're representing the face of a company and a brand. So you really gotta
$multi-million company.
Yeah, you really gotta be careful.
So I'm guessing that check is big.
Me know what dope, man. But it's
check big.
It's okay.
So the brand ambassador for
it forces you, because sometimes I really want to post certain post this. No,
you can't. You gotta be so political.
Or sometimes somebody might say something that you want to tell them like, yo, why you don't?
Yeah, you gotta be so.
Don't do it, Rawle. Don't do it.
So for the viewers who may be, wondering what Let's Bet is, you wanna give them.
All right, so Let's Bet is a new product by the Guyana Lottery Company. It's sports betting. Sport betting, which by the way is a now growing enterprise across the world.
Yep.
And the Guyana Lottery Company offers sports betting. We offer live bet and virtual as well. Be careful with virtual though; it's very addictive.
Okay.
Talking from experience, it's very addictive. But the difference is what the Guyana Lottery Company offers with Let's Bet though is accountability. Is that whatever you win, that's what you receive. If you win $2 million, you will receive $2 million without no headache and. To be verify and double check this and come back next week. We don't offer that. We offer you your cash on spot and everything. And the Guyana Lottery Company, look out for more for Let's Bet. And it's the only lottery, we give billions of dollars to Guyana. Whatever, every ticket that you spend,
a percentage goes back
exactly.
to something,
that would help in art, sports, and so forth. So Let's Bet Sports is definitely here to stay, and we will be taking over this market.
We will
be taking over.
So, what are some of the stuff that you guys are doing different from the other virtual betting
differently
games?
Is giving back.
Giving back.
We realize that a lot of people don't give back, and Chinese people really support who gives
back. Yeah.
Like we have some NBA jerseys given out.
I actually saw that.
There was a hit.
I didn't even know about that. I would have came and shoot. Like I saw you had some guys there shooting, didn't even touch the
Jamal,
net.
you should have come.
Man.
I blame Jordan. You gotta blame Jordan.
He told me about it the next day.
Jordan knows it was a mean thing, and he didn't say, "No, what? Jamal, you should have came."
He told me about it the next day. he was like, "Why these people had beers and stuff?" And I don't drink.
We had a good media launch, but what we doing different though is giving back, and really keeping you informed with sports.
Okay.
So it's more than just betting. As you know, every single thing affects your odds. Yeah. Be it if your star plays and playing, if you got 4 players missing and so forth. It's really a 2-in-1, so you could bet and you could know exactly what's happening.
I actually saw you mentioned that at the event whereby you bet when exactly Barcelona was playing somebody and then Messi actually
wasn't playing. And then automatically when the lineup came out, the odds dipped tremendously. And I had a vex because I don't play my ticket already.
So as the brand ambassador, what can the Guyanese public, the Guyanese society look forward to from Les Bets, let's say next 5 years, next 6 years?
Is accountability. Some of the biggest promotions we have plans for you. We have planned for you. Look out for a Champions League promotion as well. Right now, we're in the season of the Champions League. Look out for our promotion. And the good thing is with Let's Bet is that we offer you games, matches actually. For example, Guyana will play Belize on March 23rd right here in Guyana. And you could actually
bet on that?
Yeah, you could bet on it. We have a world title fight as well coming up, and you could bet on that as well too with Lennox Allen, who is from GT, from the ghetto, doing well in the US. And you could bet on that too. Internationally, with the Pan Am Games coming up, you could bet on it. Rugby, the Green Machine playing in the rugby Olympic qualifiers coming up. You could bet on that too.
How do you keep all this information?
Because I do it for a living every single day. It's like I could remember every single thing coming off the top of my head. So you could bet on every single thing.
So as the brand ambassador, are you allowed to bet?
I can't play lotto, but I just bet. I don't win. I don't win though. So because some stupid team always. What
are some of the teams you just bet on?
I bet on basketball. I bet on football.
On basketball. I hope you don't be betting on Rockets.
But here is the problem though, right? No, I don't. The other night, for some strange reason, right, Jamal? The other night, I bet that the Rockets would beat OKC. And that was the only game that to lose. I had doubts in the game. I don't know
what OKC that Kevin Durant plays on. That's the OKC you bet against.
That with Paul George and Westbrook. I was like, you know what? I feel the Rockets would edge them tonight. And the OKC came from 22 points down and win the game, right? So, and then, however, the Champions League, I bet in single game on the Champions League.
I just said the same OKC that Kevin Durant plays on.
I know,
the liquor is getting to me. That Kevin Durant used to play on.
The show is intoxicated and he's getting intoxicated.
The team that Kevin Durant used to play on.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a bad bet. I would bet against OKC, but the team I won't bet against right now
is Warriors.
Yeah,
but if you want the money though, you gotta bet against them. But here is the
once they lose.
Here is the catch though. In live betting with sports, forget the final result. For football especially, there's over and under, predicting scores, halftime scores. That's where the bread is. Don't worry the end result. The end result is sometimes you might bet on Barcelona win, you might be able to get a 1.5 odd or something. But predicting your halftime score, predicting your full-time score, over and under in the score, that's where the bread is.
Okay, so what would you say to those people who may be like, this is gambling, I'm not going to support it and stuff? Because I go through that with the liquor and stuff, yeah. But I don't care about them. That's just a silent,
The funny thing is though, right? I would ask them, all right, you get a problem with gambling? Okay. You drink alcohol, right?
You smoke cigarette, right?
You smoke, right? Or you might take something in your background, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the problem?
What's the problem?
People feel, I know people that take care of their family doing sport betting.
Doing sports betting.
Those horse racing men, some men I know growing up are always well dressed, heading to play the horses and so forth, send the children to school, send the people to university playing horse.
Horse racing is major.
And this sport betting.
Do you cover horse racing too?
I cover horse racing. You know the funny thing is though, we don't have a regulatory body in Guyana so that we could really play horse racing on sport betting.
On sports bet.
Locally.
I'm sure it's something that
it's in the pipeline. I came in, the media meet it in the pipeline as well too. So it's in the pipeline, but I wouldn't subscribe.
I'm sure the Guyana Lottery Company will push for it because
I wouldn't subscribe to local betting because people. I've covered the Champions League. I've covered the qualified for the CONCACAF club tournament leading up to it, and I've seen people being investigated for betting. I've seen people. I can remember working in Trinidad with a pro league club over there, and at the time it was a U.S. club, Houston Dynamo, came down to Trinidad to play, and the game was double connection playing them. Dynamo, the player missed open goal, like genuine chances he missed. The player missed this goal easy. The next day they were investigated.
Yeah, definitely.
Right here in Guyana, a player by the name of Ranson Williams, who's been missing for years. For the past 2 or 3 years, I think Ranson has been missing. Very good goalkeeper. He would have been investigated for gambling or whatever they would call it. You understand? Playing with Alpha United at the time and playing in the CONCACAF Club Championships with Alpha United too. He was investigated because they would look and see, if Jamal is very good as a very good goalkeeper, there's no way
the roly-poly could
exactly.
be. Yeah.
So these simple things, and so you would find in some countries, like even in Jamaica, sports betting is a big deal in Jamaica, and they don't offer sports betting in their local leagues. So it might be very, very difficult to pull off locally, unless you're in the US and so forth.
You had the Intoxicated experience.
Yeah.
Is there
need to get on this.
Is there anybody you would like to nominate to have this experience?
Garden Mosley.
Yeah, let me put Garden Mosley on spot right now. I've been asking Garden to come since season 1, and guess why Garden didn't want to come?
Why you want to come?
Garden telling me that me show consists of bare B-listers. So he's the only A-lister in Guyana. Whenever I get an A-lister, that's when he's gonna go.
Garden. Let me see. I nominating Garden. Casual.
Yeah, I'll definitely have Casual.
Who else? Magnum. I want to hear Magnum's story. But I gotta tell you.
We've been waiting to hear Magnum's story from long. Jeremy could attest to this. Like Magnum was supposed to be here since.
Magnum gotta give me a Guyanese talk. Me want the Jamaican thing that he's give me a talk.
So let the people know where they can find you if they're interested.
All right, so you can find me on social media. On Instagram, I am Rawle Toney. On Facebook, as Rawle Toney. There are more than one, but it's actually only one. You understand? I don't do Twitter. I don't do Twitter.
No, Twitter is not really popular.
Not my thing in Guyana. But if I'm in the States or with Twitter,
definitely, people follow you.
You can find me on Twitter at Rawle Toney as well. So Instagram, I am Rawle Toney. Facebook, Rawle Toney, and you could also find me at Let's Bet GY on Instagram and Facebook, and Let's Bet.gy online.
And also you're on the radio Monday.
Yeah, radio Monday to Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. with myself and my brother Tristan. And Selector Andre as well.
So did we forget to talk about anything?
No.
Did we cover everything?
You got more to me than a lot of people would get out to me. You see, I had to tell Jamal about something that people really don't know about.
Well, that's the whole purpose of the show. Thanks for coming, man.
Intoxicated was everything. Yo, I feel like I made it right now.
You made it?
Yeah, I'm intoxicated. I made it.
That's how I felt when I was on that panel with you, Rawle, Corwin, Casual, Brian Smith. I'm like, what am I doing here? When I look around, it's all established men. I'm like,
I feel like
what?
Don't worry, Aldo. I feel like I made it now.
I hope you're going to share this interview with people.
Of course. Of course.
All right, then. So until next time, thanks for tuning in, man.
What up, it's your boy J.L. Adams, aka The Intoxicator. And if you like the video you just now saw and want to see more of it, then make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. so you can be up to date with what's happening here on this channel, okay? And if you want to see some uncut, behind the scenes footage of what's happening here on Intoxicated, the Super Chat Show, make sure to click the Patreon link below. So remember to support the thing, to be up to date with these things. I'm out.